You're now listening to The Festival of Football, presented by Billy Harvey and Henry Barrett.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Festival of Football podcast. Today's episode 5, and we're going to be talking about 3 topics indeed. And on these 3 topics, we're going to be speaking about Manchester City finally being announced and winning the league, the champions. Briefly in that, we're going to be mentioning, what Man United did. Should they be punished for fielding the weakened team that they put out? On top of that, we're also then going to be talking about the weekend's fixtures, previewing them games, seeing if we can, dissect any upsets maybe, particularly Newcastle Man City game. And then finally, we're going to be talking about VAR, VAR, how it's ruining football, what our opinions on it are, if it works, if it don't work, and basically just having a general chit chat. So yeah, we'll start off with talking about Man City winning the league. Finally been announced after Man United's shit show last night, should I say. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? Man City was always going to win the league. It was just eventually going to, when was it going to be announced? When was it going to finally be? Yeah, confirmed, all well and good. So what's your thoughts on Man City finally winning the league last night without playing?
Yeah, it was inevitable, wasn't it? Even though they lost against Chelsea, it was only a matter of time. Man United wasn't going to win all those games. City wasn't going to drop any more points. If you look at the running they had, and they've been the best team this season by far. They've been the most consistent team. They've kind of shown everyone why they've been Premier League champions 3 times out of the last 4 years. Very unlucky last season not to win it too. And again, they've dominated the Premier League and they'll continue to dominate it until Pep goes, to be honest. They've got the best squad, they've got the most amount of money, they've got the best coach in world football. There isn't really much else you can say about them. They're just consistently good.
Yeah, I mean, some of the games you've seen them play this year, I don't think, though, like this is, people are saying like this is like one of the best City teams. I don't think it is. I think the team with like David Silva and all that in it, I think they won it a different way this year. Normally they win it, styling, profiling, like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But I don't think they did it this year. I remember, I think after the first 8 games, they were 11th in the league, mate. So it's like they turn it around, but then it just goes to show you how shit the rest of the league was. After 8 games, they were 11th, and they're able to win it by the margin that they've won it. It just tells you how bad it is. But yeah, I mean, fair play to them. They deserve it. At the end of the day, they've been the best team in the league. And yeah, does it make Liverpool the worst champions ever?
No, you got to look back at that Blackburn team that won the league and then sold their best players and then fell apart the next season. I think that's the worst defending champions. I think Liverpool are not quite as bad as that. There are some similarities. There's some similarities there, but I think Blackburn have got to be the worst defending champions. They're more Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I think Man United did everything possible last night to give City the title, which was surprising to me. And just getting into that, I mean, I don't personally understand what Man United were doing, because I get that you've got to play so many games in such a short period. But then I was looking at Christmas time, you play Boxing Day, then you normally play the 28th. It's always like a 2-day window there. But you don't normally see like that many changes then. And it's like, there's so many factors to it. And this is what's fascinating about it. It's like they chose to rest against Leicester to play dominantly, to play more their first team against Liverpool. So isn't that somewhere like breaking a rule somewhere, that you're choosing to play your better team against Liverpool because they're your rivals than Leicester that are not? Isn't there some kind of like dodginess there in some way? Like, come on, you can't. It's like West Ham saying, you know what, we've got Millwall coming up and then we're playing Charlton. We're resting against Charlton because we want to do Millwall over. That's not sportsmanship. That's not, playing fairly for the rest of the league, is it?
Well, yeah, there's 2 sides to every story. And I think as the manager, you should pick whatever team you want to. And to be fair, Man United knew they wasn't going to win the title. So the league is over for them. So they could, in theory, play a weakened team the rest of the season and rest their players for the Europa League final. Which is what I would do. Which they're going to finish top 4.
And there's playing a weakened team, and then there's playing the team they played last night. They knew by doing that they were going to lose, which gives Leicester 3 points, which makes it impossible, near enough impossible for Liverpool to get top 4. But what everyone's forgetting is what we spoke about on the last pod, is you can get Champions League if you finish in the top 5. Why are people not understanding this? So Liverpool only need to finish 5th, and Liverpool will finish 5th now, because I think Leicester probably won't win the next 2 games. At best, they'll get a point. West Ham have to win all 3 games to try and finish above Leicester. I think Liverpool will batter Man United tomorrow night, and then I think it will just be, it'll be the way the teams are at the minute. I think Chelsea might go above Leicester, and then Liverpool be 5th, and then I'm hoping West Ham 6th. Because if we finish 7th, then even if we're in this conference thing, I'm not going to be happy about it, mate, to be honest. But,
no, but I think what Man United have done is, I think, people will say, they've played a weakened team, but there's always a flip side. They're playing the young players. They're blooding in the young players. So there's two sides to every story, isn't there? It's the narrative that
they were blooded in young players. They knew exactly what they were doing. Man United fans cost that game to be cancelled, to be postponed. So now Man United have put themselves in that situation. Their fans have put themselves in that situation. Not Liverpool fans, not West Ham fans, not Tottenham fans. So why did Man United have the balls to say, oh, we're going to play a Leicester team because the Premier League are making us play this many games? It was their own fans that got the game cancelled. Just because their season's over doesn't mean you can then rest players for other teams. And it's so convenient now. Like when Wolves did it all them years ago against Man United, they got fined. But now we're talking about Man United. It's, the rules have been changed years ago.
Yeah,
see what I mean?
I think as a manager, whether it's a weakened team that you play or your strongest team, you should be able to pick whatever team you want without fear of reprisal, because you're managing the team. At the end of the day, win or lose, it's going to affect your career. Okay, yeah, it has ramifications on the rest of the league. But if they want to play a weakened team and they want to play the kids, the reserves, whoever they want to play, it's down to him. If he wants to do it, he can do it. And
but mate, it's borderline cheating.
No, I don't think so. I think, if they'd won that game.
There's a thin line between doing that and cheating. Why is it okay for him to rest against Leicester, play this team against Leicester, but then play big boys against Liverpool? How is that fair to Liverpool? It's not. And that's why I'm saying the sportsmanship and the fairness of the game has been basically thrown out the window. And if he plays a strong team against Liverpool, their season's over. Why are they playing a big team against Liverpool? Because it's Liverpool and Man United don't like Liverpool. That's where I think Liverpool fans have the right to be angry. As a West Ham fan, I feel like I have the right to be angry because they let Leicester win that game last night. Simple as that.
I think fans do, but I think the thing you've got to remember is no one was saying this when Man United played the kids in the Europa League, then played the Premier League the next week. It's just convenient for people to say now.
The Europa League only affected Man United. If Man United got themselves knocked out of the Europa League, that's down to them. It's like, it's like when Sheffield United, remember when we're talking about last pod when West Ham stayed up with Tevez. Neil Warnock went into that game. He thought Man United were going to beat us, and then he rested players to let Wigan win so that we would go down. Otherwise, if Sheffield United beat Wigan, Wigan got relegated or something like that. And then they got beat by Wigan, but we beat Man United. So Neil Warnock was then pissed off at Man United because we beat them. But at the end of the day, they played their full team. Man United played their full team. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, one game in a season doesn't mean that much. I think if you're not good enough over the course of the season to finish where you need to finish, you can't blame Man United for playing a weaker team because you didn't finish there.
No, I get that. My argument is it's not to do with them playing a weaker team against Leicester. It's to do with the fact why they've done it, and they're going to play a strong team against Liverpool. I think that's the unfair thing. I want them to beat Liverpool because then it keeps Liverpool below West Ham. But I think the unfairness in it of where you're going to choose, we'll play a Leicester team against Leicester, but we'll put our big boys in against Liverpool because that's the bigger game. I get it's a rivalry and stuff, but that's not fair. And I think that's why they need to be sanctioned for it. That's why they need to be punishment, because you can't choose that Leicester's a better game to put the young kids in. Why is that fair? If Man United's playing for something, then fair enough. But as you said out of your own mouth, like the games are done for them. They've got nothing to play for anymore. Why rest against Leicester, not Liverpool? Why is one easier to rest than the other? You can say it's the rivalry and whatever, but that's not fair.
They might not play a strong team against Liverpool. I mean, it's likely that they will, but they might not. I mean, he might just go,
They're not playing on the weekend. They're playing again next Tuesday.
Yeah, but
So
he might say that.
Cavani.
Yeah, but he might say, look, the Premier League's over for us. We can't win it. We've got Champions League football. We've got a Europa League final coming up. I'm going to rest players because I want them to be at their sharpest. Give them a few games off, or maybe they play 45 minutes or something. Yeah, to be honest with you,
if you give them all that time off, they won't be at the sharpest.
No, but the thing is, for me, like, I can see where Ollie's coming from. It's his first final, and he needs to win a trophy, because if he doesn't win a trophy this season, he's probably going to get sacked.
But that's not why he rested them, mate. It's not got nothing to do with the Europa League.
That's what I think it is.
But when they played Villa, why didn't he rest players against Villa, knowing that he was playing Leicester and Liverpool? Why didn't he rest players against Villa? It was because he didn't want to beat Leicester, because then it allowed Liverpool the chance to get top 4.
Yeah, I mean, even if it is that, it's great, because like, as if it was me, if that was Tottenham and Arsenal situation, I'd put the under 5s out and let whoever smash us 9-0 if Arsenal couldn't get Champions League football. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, yeah, we did it. Give us the £50,000 fine. What's that? Drop in the ocean? Nothing. Thanks. Like, I get it. It's complete
points deduction, mate.
Well, they should get a points deduction for cancelling a Liverpool game anyway, but they won't. They won't, because whatever they give them, it's like we've said before, if they give them a points deduction, it's never been done before. So they'll go to the European Court for Sport for arbitration and say, we're being picked on, it's unfair, nothing like this happened before, we haven't even been given a warning for it. And they'll just go, yeah, you're right, Premier League, you can't do that. Sorry, you have to issue them a warning, give them a fine, and then that's it, and we move on. So I don't think there's going to be any, as much as I think they should have a points deduction, I don't think legally they can do much.
Yeah, well,
it's a shame. It's a shame, because it'd be great if Man United got a 25-point deduction, wouldn't it? It'd be amazing, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they'll be out of the Champions League then.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they would be, but
I just find it so so hypocritical of these Man United fans that the other week they were like, oh, we've all got to come together for this ESL, we've all got to stay united so we don't allow these rich owners to take over the clubs and take our great clubs into these blah blah blah. But then now they're saying, oh, don't blame us for you not getting top 4, and it's not our fault we've got to play this many games. No, it is your fault, because you were single-minded and only thought about your own club getting a game postponed, that now you had to play so many games so quick together, and then your manager's put out this crap team for no reason, when he could have played his strong team for 60 minutes, then took off 3 of his best players, and then they could have played again on Thursday.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't want to do that, because he wanted to do Liverpool in. And then it's convenient now, because Man United fans are all happy that they've done Liverpool in. They want to do one. But before, they was like, oh, let's all come together and all this. No, fairness of the game and all this. That went against fairness of the game. And that's why I think they should be punished, because they chose to do it against Leicester, not Liverpool. For me, that says they wanted to do it to fuck Liverpool up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and they probably did. You're probably right, but I think football fans are fickle, aren't they? So one thing.
No.
I mean, it's like when you hear all these football fans got the ESL cancelled. No, they didn't. They didn't. Like, football fans protesting meant nothing. Like, that's not why the clubs pulled out of it. It's all nonsense. It's because UEFA have now decided they're going to revamp the Champions League. And then it all went away, and you think, is that what they wanted in the first place? It's not football fans.
Well, I think the reason why the English teams pulled out is because the government got involved.
It's not even that. I don't think it's that. I think
as soon as the government got involved, mate, that's when they all pulled out. Because when they were talking about UEFA were talking about sanctions and all this rubbish on Sunday night, they all were adamant they were joining. They were still doing it. The moment Boris Johnson come out and said, no, this is not going to happen, and we'll do whatever it takes legally to stop them, they then changed their tune. I agree, it had nothing to do with the fans. And
Nothing at
It
all.
was it's a political move to be like, oh, we did it for the fans, because then it makes the fans all hush hush.
Yep.
And you see, like the Arsenal fans, they did a protest the other night, and I saw this fan on Arsenal fan TV, and he said I had to leave. He's like, why'd you leave? Because no one was there. I'm like, no one's turned up for it. But
Yeah, I mean,
it
it is what it is, and going back to Man United, like, you know, we know Man United fans are special. We've had them on social, like, with their narrow-minded views, and you know, it'll be, you know, if they do get a fine or something, oh, everyone's picking on United, like, oh, bugger off, like, you know, just accept the fact that what you've done it, like you said, probably to annoy Liverpool, like to make them not qualify for the Champions League and all that, and just.
Hey, Man United fans are probably angry that the Champions League final potentially could be moved to London. When if the Europa League one was moved to London, it'd be right on their doorstep for most Man United fans.
It's true, yeah, but then, you know, they're playing a Spanish team, so
how many Man United fans are in Man City, in Manchester?
Probably not many.
Just over half, probably.
Yeah. I mean, most of their fans, like we said, are overseas, aren't they? But you know, that's another discussion.
It really is. But congratulations to City; they deserve to win the title. And yeah, I think it'll be the same next year, mate. It all depends on how long Pep wants to be there for.
It does, and I think, like you said, City have made some really good transfers. Like, he's now sorted out the defense. He's got Ruben Diaz in. They've got Kyle Walker. They've got Laporte, who's going to play for Spain.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Crazy how France.
Controversial, man. He's French. How can he play for Spain?
Well, he comes
because he was at Madrid for a little while, wasn't he? Atletico Madrid.
No, he was at Atletico Bilbao, so he's Basque. So he comes
from
that region where it's like there's like a French and Spanish border, and he could play for either one. And France haven't called him up. So I don't know why France haven't called him up. He's 10 times better than any centre back they've got.
He never played for France then?
No, he's never even been called up.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, huge loss, massive loss. And yeah, and if Pep does stay for another few years, I think if Man City win the Champions League, and this is going to be a bold shout, he might go on a sabbatical again, because he's won everything with Man City. He might stay to win the World Club Cup and say, you know, I've won literally everything with City, and then
I think he'll stay one more year, regardless of what happens. If he wins the Champions League, I think he'll stay for another year. Because I mean, he had that big loss in his life, wasn't it? His mum died this season or something, and I think that affected him. And then after, you know, slowly he probably come to terms with that. That's when he just banged out this epic run that Man City have gone on and done, mate. I mean, they've done bits, so fair play to them.
Yeah, fair play to them. They've been the best team in the league. They've got the best squad, the best budgets, the best coaching, the best manager.
And for all these people saying that they've bought the league and all this shit, just stop being envious, man. Because if some prince come into your club and bought it, if a country bought your club and was throwing money at players and all that, you won't be saying shit.
No, they wouldn't. So, no one says it. Like, we look at Premier League champions throughout history. Everyone's bought the league. Blackburn did it in '95 when they spent huge amounts of money.
Blackburn, Chelsea. Yeah. I think maybe the only club that probably didn't buy the league was Arsenal, maybe.
No, they did. They spent huge money. Leicester spent next to nothing and they won it. I think they're the only club that you can't really say hadn't spent huge money and won the league. They spent next to nothing and they went on that run, didn't they? And they won it. Even Man United's sides in the golden eras, they spent huge amounts of money on players like Berbatov, Tevez, Ferdinand, maybe not Vidic.
Oh, well, technically they didn't really spend any money on Tevez because he was always dodgy deals, weren't they?
Well, yeah, no one knows about those financial deals. But I mean, they spent big money on players like Ferdinand, Barthez, Berbatov, Van Nistelrooy. Like, the list goes on, and you know that.
There's an overrated keeper there.
Barthez. Oh, quality goalkeeper. A bit eccentric, but
mate, he was overrated. What do you mean quality?
No, he's an awesome goalkeeper. He's got to be one of the best goalkeepers of all time, surely.
I always remember when West Ham played the FA Cup against Man United, and Di Canio went through on goal and he thought he was offside, so he just stood there with his hand up like, "Oh, he's offside!" And Di Canio sit in, and then he started moaning. Brilliant.
Yeah, he was a bit nutty, wasn't he? But he was a great keeper.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, mate.
You've been listening to the Festival of Football podcast, presented by Henry Berrett and Billy Harvey. We'll see you on the next one.